Hey everybody, this is Jack with Vacationese, and I am here with Sherese. Sherese and Carl had a wedding with us. We helped them plan, and I thought it'd be interesting for everybody to hear about how they planned and everything. So, hey Sherese, welcome. Thanks for joining us. So, if you,
Anytime. I'm excited to be here.
yeah, tell us when you had your wedding, where you had it, how many people, things of that nature.
All right. I got married July 15th, 2022, at the El Dorado Royale Casitas in Riviera Maya, Mexico. We originally invited, I believe, 70 people, and we had 60 show up.
And that's an adults only resort. So you had
And
no kids.
no kids.
No kids. Okay. And how far in advance did you think about having a destination wedding and actually start the planning process for your destination wedding?
Yeah, so I always knew that I was going to have a destination wedding. My husband was not the traveler, but it was always something that we discussed throughout like our relationship. So I got engaged Christmas Day 2020, and I think like by middle of January we had already contacted you, was looking for resorts to actually try to get
But
married
now,
at. But
but
yeah,
now
it
he's a
was.
traveler, right? Now
Oh
he wants
yeah,
to
he's
go
all
back.
over the place now.
Yeah, now he wants to travel. That's great. So,
Yeah.
how did you pick your resort?
So we knew that it was really important for us to have a resort that wasn't extremely far from the airport. So immediately that took out a lot of places in, like, I think Jamaica, because the airport is kind of far away from some of the resorts we really liked. We definitely wanted to keep in a certain budget. We didn't want, when we originally started thinking about the wedding, we didn't want to go over 16K. So we tried to
So you're talking
find
about 16K
resorts
for
that would.
your wedding and event budget, not
Exactly.
16,000 for each guest to spend, which would have been amazing.
I wish.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't until you helped us pinpoint what we were looking for us and for our guests. We wanted to pick a resort that was, we still had party, you still had fun, you could still have good entertainment at night, but we also knew that we had some elderly people coming as well, and we wanted them to be able to have a spa-like experience at the same time. So El Dorado literally just gave us both, because the resort is so big, and you have the VIP section, and then you have like the main pool and the more party area. And I really thought about guests a lot.
And that's
At some
important. I
points, we were
always
even like,
stress to
okay,
people,
what
right? I
about us?
stress to people, you're inviting your guests, forcing them on a vacation. And I can tell you, I spoke to many of your guests, and everybody had a great vacation.
Yeah, listen. They're like, when are we going back? When are we going back? We nailed it with the resort. We have a very, very, very wealthy guest that came, and they have traveled all over the world, and they even said like this is the best resort we've ever been to.
So just so everybody knows, so we looked at many adults only resorts. We ultimately picked El Dorado Royale and Casita. There were some perks, right? You got some free stuff, as I
Okay.
recall,
Yep.
right? So let's jump ahead. But so you had this budget. How'd you make out with the budget? Did you exceed it because of the perks? You saved money? How did it
I
work out
saved
for you?
money. I actually did the math with the things that we received back. I think we only spent 11,400 on the entire wedding, and that includes Carl and I's stay and our flight.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
we flew first class.
Wow. So
Yeah.
tell us about some of the cool stuff you did at the wedding, private
Oh,
events and things like that.
yeah. I think one of the biggest highlights for me outside of actually the ceremony, like the wedding day, was our welcome party.
Your vibe, what kind of vibe was it? What did you serve?
Honestly, it was, we had the Mexican donkey bar. I wanted it
Wow.
to feel like a fiesta, right? We had the big welcome sign. We gave out little favors. We wanted it to feel like you are in Mexico. Like, I know you traveled here for our wedding, but we have a few days beforehand. We want you to treat it as your vacation as well. So we just had a big fiesta on the beach, and it was the best. It was the best. That was probably, besides my wedding, the highlight of my wedding week. Definitely
That's
the
awesome.
welcome party.
So one of the things people
Besides the
always,
welcome party, We also had we treated it as a family dinner, but we had the private, I think it was supposed to be semi-private, but I don't know how we lucked out. But we originally were supposed to have it in a restaurant, indoors, but they gave us, I think it's La Isla.
La
They
Isla,
gave us
yep.
the entire La Isla. So we had the
Wow.
entire restaurant to ourselves.
Palapa overlooking the water and everything. So,
Yeah.
to who was your wedding planner? How are they dealing with you? Were they creative? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I had a on-site wedding planner, and then I also had someone off resort. My on-site wedding planner was Gloria,
Okay.
and she was amazing. Um, my friends, my bridesmaids thought I was crazy because I never felt stressed. Like I
Wow.
felt
Never felt
so
stressed.
calm,
Can you
no,
repeat that again?
zero stress.
And was she at all your events or did she just say hey and then let you loose?
No, Gloria was at every single thing, from the welcome to the family dinner to like the getting ready portion of my wedding
Wow.
to the everything. She was there the whole way, and she had my phone number. I had her phone number. Even little details down to the weather. Right, like she made sure, like, hey, it's 2% chance of my rain. Um, yeah, if I could, I would. Oh God, I hope I would never have to do this again. I hope I'm done with getting married. But if I had to recommend it to somebody else, I would say, listen, if you can get Gloria, you're set. You'll be fine.
So if you look back on the wedding, just the wedding itself, what was your favorite part of having this dream come true?
Seeing it come true and trusting. I'm a planner, and I was like in all the Facebook groups, and there's like an El Dorado Facebook group I was in, and I always maybe second guess I wasn't doing enough. Like people always tell you, like, it's beautiful, you don't need a lot. Like, rely on the beauty of where you are. You don't need a lot. And literally all I had was the two corsages on the gazebo and two flat plants, and that was it. I didn't have
Right.
like anything on the chairs. I didn't have big floral arrangements. I literally just let the location speak for itself, and actually walking down the aisle and being like, okay, good with trusting your gut on that one, girl. Like, it's great. Like, when people tell you you don't need a lot because it's beautiful, they're not lying.
Right.
And
And
it's so well kept. They do such a good job with making
the
sure the
landscape is
grounds are
beautiful.
kept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we felt very, it didn't, after a while, like, it felt like they were your family because they were constantly catering to you. And even people who knew that, they didn't know I was the bride, right? Like, maybe some people would assume, oh, you're the bride. Of course you get special treatment. But some of the people didn't know who I was or what I was there for. We barely walked anywhere unless we wanted to. People were constantly picking you up. They would, if you had something that looked heavy, they're going to take it for you. The staff at the restaurants were great. We did like the private dinner on the beach. Absolutely amazing.
Saxophone was playing. Yeah.
Even the bartenders, like, the staff is top notch,
So
top
what
notch.
was your favorite part, not of the wedding, but of the experience staying at the resort? Was there a restaurant? Was there an activity during the day that if I'm a bride and I'm saying to you, I think I might go here and you're going to put me over the edge, what things, like two or three things, like really made it for you from the vacation side?
Um, Definitely the private pools. Like, every casita has their own little enclave of a pool, and you get to know everybody that's in your little bubble. Like, you get to hang out with the same people throughout the whole vacation. Like, that's your meetup point. And I'm talking about people outside of my wedding guests. I mean, just actual people on the resort. I loved how the pools, there was like, I don't even know how many pools there are in the casitas. There's whew,
There's probably 10 different blocks of casitas. Just so everybody knows, the casita is a group of between 18 and 30 rooms. They look like little Mexican villas, and you have your own private pool, bartender, palapas on the beach, which are my favorite place to work from. And
yep.
to Sherese's point, after a while, you can't not have something in your drink because the bartender, the butlers are keeping you hydrated, as they tell you.
The entire time.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant called Santa Fe.
Hmm.
Loved it. Loved it.
Great for
Um,
breakfast.
oh, good breakfast. And they had these, I know it sounds ridiculous, but they have this bread and it's just the freshest bread that you will ever have in your life. It was so good. We ate there so many times. There's also a buffet in the hotel lobby. I forgot the name of that one. Cocotel? Is that Cocotel?
Tuckatel, yep, is they have what they call a food display, which we
Yes.
call buffet. It's a great
Yes.
marketing term, and it's only open for breakfast.
Hmm.
And everybody seems to go there and doesn't realize there's Santa Fe or Rincon is also available
Yes.
sometimes for breakfast,
Yes.
which I think is
We
great.
had a very good Japanese restaurant on, and that, we were actually like right in front of it.
Oh, so you were
First
in
of
block
all,
like 29, and
my casita, there was no one on. So the way that the casitas are set up, you can have like your standalone casita, or you can have ones where someone was above you. So not only did we have the standalone one, when we checked in, the lady was like, "Oh, you got a nice room," because it's literally on the beach. It's
right,
right on the
so you
beach.
were in a beachfront casita right by the bar, probably right there as well, right by
Ex-
Kampai.
yep, that's
My
where
favorite
exactly.
location. You're 10 feet from the sand.
Yep, you nailed it. That's exactly where I was.
Yeah.
The room
How,
itself was beautiful. Like
tell us
between the
about the
pools, the
showers.
restaurants, and this. Oh, come on, the outdoor shower. That was the best part of the room.
People don't understand it till they get there. How about restaurants? You had a lot of good food there. What did you think of the food?
The food was good, and I'm picky. I'm picky. And my husband was. They didn't have like a true steakhouse. He got great steak. Like he got really good options. Even the food options that were included in my wedding package was amazing. Every guest says that the food was good. And resorts, you can be really hit or miss with food. I've been to some resorts where the drinks were not great, the food was not great, the room was not great. But the food, I see why they're known as a gourmet like
Yep,
resort.
gourmet
Like the
inclusive.
food,
Yep.
oh my goodness, it's so good.
So the guests had a great time. So if you had to do this over again or plan your 5-year vow renewal trip, is there anything you would, well, first of all, would you go back to El Dorado and casitas? And so you can answer that. And then if you did, is there anything you would change looking back on what you just did?
I was Well, first of all, yes, of course I would go back. We were gonna go back for our honeymoon. I'm like, we should just try something else. Like we should try somewhere new because we've been to Riviera Maya so many times. Um, Honestly, Jack, the only thing sometimes I debate with myself, but even then I'm still happy I didn't do it. I was non-traditional and I didn't have a cocktail hour. I didn't have a cocktail hour. Um, we just had a leisure hour, so my guests were able to go back to their room and change. Some of them hopped in the shower because it was July, it was hot.
Right, right.
um, so maybe that's the only thing because it caused like one important person to be late to the actual like reception, but I think we nailed it. I honestly, and maybe the reception inside.
Okay.
But honestly, Jack, we nailed it. Like
Right.
when people ask me questions about my wedding, I literally say I had my dream wedding. I had my dream wedding. People have
I'm
said
going to
this is the
end it
most
right
beautiful
there.
wedding.
I
Yeah,
want to end it right there. You had your dream wedding. Everybody
I had
hear
my
that?
dream wedding.
Sherese had her dream wedding, and hopefully Carl had his dream wedding.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's just like, I can't believe we planned this. Because Carl's just like, here's my card. Like, I trust you. um Everybody, and it's fun to see the people who are with you on the journey, like picking the little details, the wedding favors, the colors, and seeing like, oh wow, you actually did this by yourself and it looks gorgeous. So yeah, I don't have any regrets. Like I literally had my, and I'm not the person that grew up dreaming about their wedding, but this, you can't top it. Like I had my dream wedding.
That is amazing. Well,
Yep.
thank you very much for letting me talk to you about your wedding and hopefully reliving it.
Yeah.